Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Citizen Eco-Zilla and the Citizen Orca. And those aren't the official names for these watches. Model number for this one is BJ8050-08E. And the actual name of the watch or the series is the Promaster Dive. And this is also in that same series, the Promaster Dive. And the model number for this one is BN0231-01L. Prices of these are similar. At least last time I checked on the Eco-Zilla, the price is $495 MSRP. And this one is $475 MSRP. Speaking of that, I have a discount code for any in-stock Citizen watch at Saltzman Watches. That code is WTW30, and this watch was kindly lent in by Saltzman's Watches, so if you could check out their Instagram and their website, I greatly appreciate it. And I greatly appreciate them sending watches over for us to check out. So both of these watches do have a domed mineral crystal. The Eco-Zilla does have printed indices. Kind of layered printing, I guess. So let's take a closer look. Yeah, I'm going to say it's printed. Not the easiest to tell, but on the Orca they definitely look like applied indices. You can see the metal ring around the indices here. And as far as the lume, the Orca here says it has superior lume. I don't know the exact formula, but we'll check out the lume on both of these watches towards the end of the video. And there I am holding the Zilla upside down, as I often do, because the crown is on the left side here at the 9 o'clock position, not the usual 3 o'clock position like I'm used to. So these both are unique watches. I think you would definitely get comments wearing these out and about. Unlike any other watch really that's out there, both of these have unique bezels. I say this one is more unique and noticeable because this thing is a tank. It's just big and thick and heavy. And the bezel's a little bit different to use. It's not quite as easy, but I'll let you listen to the bezel action here. So yeah, this is a serious dive watch. It's rated at 300 meters, 300 meter professional divers watch. So it's an Eco Drive. Drive, not dive. And then here, this one is also Eco Drive, and it says Divers 200 down there just above the 6 o'clock. And this has a neat bezel too. Also 60 click. It's the brushed stainless steel bezel, and these protrusions here are built into the bezel, so that insert is cut out to fit inside of the bezel there. Very neat. I don't know if these serve any function really, other than perhaps looks. I guess that's not really a function, but anyway, nice bezel action on this one as well. And you can see that kind of an arrowhead logo on both of these watches. This watch is just funny. It's so big, but then the dial is so small and the crystal is small on it. It's just such a fun watch. Both of these watches are fun, really. Definitely not an everyday watch, but fun watches for the weekend, or whenever you feel like having fun. Zoom back out here. Okay, so I already mentioned the Eco-Zilla is rated to 300 meters. The Orca is rated to 200. This has the B873 Eco Drive movement, and this has the E168 Eco Drive. I believe both of these will last for about 6 months without solar or any other light source. I have used indoor light to power these up before. Just leave them on the desk sitting underneath the lamp. Okay, so they're both 316L stainless steel. They're both brushed. This is more, I don't know how to describe the finish, but it looks a little more dull, I guess I should say. I don't know, but you can see the kind of the color differences here. The Eco-Zilla has been worn and loved and abused, so it's not quite the factory finish anymore. This knurling here is just for looks. I believe the automatic version, you can unscrew this kind of a bezel ring here, protective ring, I suppose. But this bezel is definitely not turning unless you want it to. It's very hard to accidentally move that bezel there. This does have crown guards as well on the, again, the 9 o'clock side. This one, it kind of has crown guards because the crown is integrated into the case side there. So I would consider these a crown guard. The whole crown is not just exposed. So this one has a polyurethane strap, and this one is listed as a urethane strap. I'm not sure if that's just shorthand or differences in nomenclature, but this one, it does feel different. It feels more plasticky, I guess I could say. This one feels a little softer, a little more like silicone, but it could just be the difference of the age of these watches as well. This watch is brand new, and both of these straps are very long, so definitely made for divers. Let's see if I can show you how long these things are. They just kind of spring on the table here as well. Yeah, anyway, I think you get the point. These straps are very long as compared to a normal strap, so definitely made for diving and wearing over a wetsuit. Hopefully you notice this one has a black dial with a black strap. And then the Orca, this particular model, the blue bezel insert, the blue dial, and the blue strap. You can also order this watch with the black instead of the blue here. And then they have another one that's all black. The case, the bezel insert, the bezel, everything's all black. And that one's $575. But you can use my discount code on that if they have it in stock. Okay, let's look at the difference in the thickness on these two watches, and then I'll put them both on wrist, and then we'll check out the lume to close out the video here. So the Eco-Zilla is just massive, 18.3 millimeter thickness versus 14.6 on the Orca. The Orca is a little bit thick, but you know, it's just still manageable for an everyday type watch. This Eco-Zilla is just massive, 18.3 on the thickness. The case diameter of the Zilla here is 48 millimeter. On the Orca, the case diameter is 46, and then the bezel is a little bit inset, so the bezel is 45. But again, super easy to use this bezel. A lot of times, dive watches, the bezel will overhang the case, but there's no need for that on this watch. Nice and easy to use, and hopefully you notice that you have the red accent around the lume pip there, and then the minute hand is red as well. And then again, that diver's 200 there is also in red. And then this one here, I really like that minute hand. It's just a fluorescent orange. It really pops. Holding it upside down again. So yeah, I really like the handset on this watch. I wish the dial was a little bit bigger. And no color really on the bezel. You do have these white hash marks. Yeah, and those do move with the bezel. One more click. Can we get it in place? There we go. See, what dimension was I talking about? Oh yeah, 48. So I didn't measure lug to lug on this because it's basically just, there's no lugs. The strap is kind of integrated in. You can remove this ring here, those 4 screws. It removes this outer ring, and then these straps pop off. I do have some strap adapters for this watch, but I prefer it on the strap versus the strap adapter. These are integrated as well in a way, but there's some spring bars there, so you can just remove them in a normal way. But I'm not sure what else you'd put on this watch other than another pair of these straps. So let's continue with the dimensions here on this watch. So lug to lug, it's not really lugs, but I measured from here to here, 49 millimeter. Again, the case is 46, the bezel is 45, 14.6 thick. Lug width, I took this off the Citizen website, 14.18 millimeter for the lug width. and then a 5.9 millimeter crown, kind of small, but I think Citizen watches usually have smaller crowns for whatever reason. And the weight on this is 119 grams. There's a look at the buckle. It's a rather large buckle. Actually, as large as this buckle is, the Zilla buckle is even larger. Has this, I've never seen another watch with a buckle like this. You have to loop it in and out, so it's very secure. So let's go over the dimensions on this one again. 48 millimeter case diameter. It's also the, oh, that's the whole thing. So 18.3 thick. 32 millimeter at the strap up here, and it does taper down to 20 millimeters. So 32 down to 20. And then a small crown. I mean, relatively speaking, that's a small crown because the case is so thick. That is a 6.4 millimeter crown. And the weight on this thing, 180 grams. It's a beast of a watch. And it's, of course, very top heavy, as you would expect, because there's not a bracelet on here. So let me get both of these on wrist, and then we'll check out the lume and close out the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. I really appreciate it, like I said, and it really helps me out. So this kind of bulges out here at the end as well, so it really stays within the keepers. I'm almost, if I really cinched it down, I could probably go to the tightest hole position. I have a 6.5 inch wrist with a 52 millimeter wristband. It'll fight me a little bit here. So yeah, it does have a metal keeper, but with the way that this blossoms out, it stays in there. Yeah, we'll see, that's good enough. So this does stick out on me a little bit because I can't really put the keeper up much higher. But I mean, considering how big it is, doesn't look, I don't think it looks too bad on my wrist. I have a 52 millimeter wristband, and again, this dimension here is 48 across there. And considering how thick it is, I mean, it doesn't really wear, I don't know, I mean, it's thick, so the case side does have some curvature to it, so it doesn't look as thick as if it just had a slab side. But yeah, this is a fun watch. There's the Orca next to it. So the Orca definitely looks smaller. Let's get this one off the wrist. So the strap on the Orca is also very long, and I can almost get down to that tightest. Yeah, actually that's a little bit too tight, but I'll just keep it on. Maybe not. Makes it a little hard to move the keeper down. There we go. So the end of this one is also kind of blossoms out here, and this is styled after an Orca fin. So it's kind of a neat detail, and also you can see the strap here kind of blossoms up, or comes up to a point at the center line of that strap, reminiscent of an Orca. The circle indices, or the elliptical indices, and then the protrusions on the bezel are all designed to mimic an Orca. And then there's that Orca on the case back. I think I showed you that, but I'll show you again in a second here. So really not too bad. The sizes that I'm talking about, the 46 millimeter for the case, and then it's not really lug to lug, but we'll call it lug to lug, is 49. So let me know which of these watches you like more. You can always have them both in your collection if you want. It's always an option. So there's the Orca on the case back. I think I showed this already, I can't remember. Okay, let's pause the video and check out the lume. Alright, we have the Eco-Zilla on the left here and the Orca on the right, as I'm sure you can tell. Both of these watches have great lume. I would say that the handset on the Orca is brighter than the handset on the Eco-Zilla on the left here. And the indices, I would say, are equal. And then the loom pip is a little brighter on the Orca as well. So that green loom definitely is the ticket here. But if you're into loom, you really can't go wrong with either of these watches. They're both fun watches, and I think either of them will make a great addition to your collection. So that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching.